Audio is off.
Okay.
Thank you. So on the Agricultural Commission, we have 2 seats available and 2 applicants, Ella Potenza and Isaac Basibe. I'm not sure how to pronounce that last name. Airport Commission, we have 1 seat available and 2 applicants, Walter Flaherty and Michael Levitt. Board of Health, we have 1 seat available and 2 applicants, Carrie McKenna and Louisa Lindgren. Cannabis Advisory Committee, we have 1 seat available and 0 applicants. The Capital Program Committee, we have 1 seat available and 1 applicant, Caroline Baltzer. Cemetery Commission, we have 1 seat available and 1 applicant, Jason Leonardo Finger. Coastal Resiliency Advisory Committee, we have 1 seat available and 1 applicant, Joanna Roach. Conservation Commission, we have 3 seats available and 3 applicants, Seth Engelborg, Michael Misurelli, and Joseph Plandowski. The Contract Review Subcommittee, 1 seat available and 0 applicants. Council for Human Services, 4 seats available and 4 applicants, Suzanne Keating, Amanda Wright, Tara Restieri, and Deborah Gudeman. Council on Aging, 4 seats available and 5 applicants, Tony Walsh, Robert Kucharvi, Erin Lynch, Kelsey Gray, and Diane Flaherty. Cultural Council, we have 4 seats available and 3 applicants, Barbara Tibbetts, Bethany Oliver, and Sarah Ellis. There was 1 change that was made in the packet this week for the Finance Committee. 4 seats available, there are now 8 applicants. The last applicant on the list had actually faxed his application in, but the fax machine was jammed, so we didn't find it until Monday, but it was date stamped appropriately, so he was added. So those 8 applicants are Martin McCarrow, Jill Veith, Anthony Gudeman, Chris Glowacki, Shelley Lockwood, Rick Atherton, Kit Murphy, and Matthew Mulcahy. Historic District Commission Associate seat, 1 seat available and 1 applicant, Constance Patton. The Nantucket Affordable Housing Trust, 1 seat available and 2 applicants, John Wise and Mary O'Connor Mack. Nantucket Historical Commission, 2 seats available and 3 applicants, Abby DeMolina, Linda Williams, and Caroline Baltzer. Planning Board Alternate, 1 seat available and 1 applicant, Abby DeMolina. Real Estate Assessment Committee, 1 seat available and 1 applicant, Lee Saperstein. Roads and Right-of-Way Committee, 3 seats available and 2 applicants, Alan Reinhard and Rick Atherton. Scholarship Committee, 2 seats available and 0 applicants. I will note that one of the incumbents applied, but she was late, so I'm going to put her in for round 2. Steamship Authority Port Council, 1 seat available, 1 applicant, Nat Lowell. Tree Advisory Committee, there's an error I see here, 2 seats available and 1 applicant, Emily Molden. Zoning Board of Appeals, this is for the 5-year seat, 1 seat available and 1 applicant, Lisa Botticelli. And then Zoning Board of Appeals alternate seat, this is a 3-year seat, 1 seat available and 0 applicants. Again, the incumbent applied but not until late, so I'll put him into round 2 as well. And I'm going to be advertising all of the committee openings here that have not been filled according to this sheet, so we'll try to get that out earlier this year, so we can get a round 2 going in July. Keep those unfilled as, for the less amount of time as possible.
Thank you, Erica. The Memorial Day Parade will be held this Sunday, May 25th at 1 p.m. The agenda says noon. However, we were advised earlier today that the parade actually starts at 1. We have 3 additional announcements that came in after the agenda was published. One is this week is National Public Works Week, and we put out a video on social media earlier in the week to show just how hardworking and fun our DPW workers are, and we're going to show you that video.
Everywhere you look, there's a heart, a hand to hold on to. Everywhere you look,
It's done. Thank you very much. And we really want to give a shout out to DPW and administrative staff. We really appreciate them. They do a lot of work behind the scenes that many people don't know about. They get a lot of complaints, often without people knowing the full story of why something was or wasn't done. So thank you, DPW. Town offices will be closed this coming Monday, May 26th, in observance of Memorial Day, and the chair has an announcement.
Erica has up on the screen a response to our attorneys who had submitted comments to the environmental assessment process for the offshore water drilling project. And this is the statement that there was a finding of no significant impacts. And there's a link to the full finding that this document will be added to the website, to this packet, so you can, I guess, Erica, how are we going to do that? The link won't show up that way, right? So
I can add this as a PDF into it, and this will have a live
link.
hyperlink to
Okay.
it. I've also already put this information in the minutes as well for this meeting.
Okay, terrific. Thanks, Erica. And that's it from me. Any other comments from the board? Announcements? Okay, hearing none. We had no public comments last week. It is now time for public comment for items not on the agenda. Rita?
I have a visual aid as well. Is that okay to hand out?
If you have something for the board to see, it needs to go to Erica.
Oh, okay.
If you don't, which is a policy of not handing things out directly. We'll wait till they make their way down.
Thanks.
Okay, timer, Erica, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
You ready? Yes. Go ahead.
Right. Thank you very much. My name is Rita Carr. I am the chair of the Nantucket Historical Commission, but I'm speaking tonight just for myself, not on behalf of the NHC. I handed out a picture of the recent repairs that were made to the Civil War Monument on Upper Main Street, and I would really encourage the select board not to accept the current state of these repairs. Last Friday, at our Historical Commission meeting, we heard that the new stone repairs would take up to a year to weather in appearance to match the old stone, but the brand new appearance of the stone is far from the only problem with the repairs. The new granite posts and curving are set taller in the ground than the existing ones, and they are not level. They're also slightly wider. The berry granite that was used for the replacement posts and curving does not match the appearance of the original Quincy granite. It has a much more homogeneous appearance and lacks the large dark flecks of the original stone. In March, I advocated for sourcing reclaimed historic Quincy granite to be used in the repair, but was told that that was not feasible. However, I know that it is possible. It just takes more time and potentially expense to source the historic stone. But there are preservation companies that specialize in this type of work. I also wonder where is the current location of the historic stone that was removed from the monument. There were 4 posts and I believe 2 pieces of curbing that were removed and replaced, which seems more than was strictly necessary based on the damage that was done when the monument was hit by the car. So I really hope that historic material is with the DPW. So again, I just urge the select board not to accept the substandard repair and to go back to the insurance company that oversaw the repair claim, Bartlett Consolidated, to say that the work performed by the contractor which Bartlett Consolidated hired is unacceptable, and to demand a proper repair be completed. I also question the subcontractor selection process. To my knowledge, the contractor who performed the actual repair was hired entirely by the insurance company without the consultation of the town. And I think we owe it to the soldiers and sailors whose names are on that monument to respectfully honor their sacrifice with a proper repair. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Erica, there was no timer. I don't know what happened. Am I not? I'm not. It- Okay, I maybe need to change a setting. Hang on for 1 sec. I'd like people to be able to see it when they're talking, so if we don't have a big agenda, so if we wait a minute. There we go. I see it now. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to go to Amy, and then I'm going to go, after that, I'll go to Campbell Sutton online.
All right. Sorry. My name's Amy Eldridge. Couple quick questions. I know the election was yesterday and the Our Island home passed on that by like less than 200 votes. I'm curious when we'll know a decision on a special town meeting. If that special town meeting takes place, what are the parameters for the time frame? Will that be open to citizen articles? And I'm just wondering, because we're getting into the summer season where the attendance of registered voters are going to dwindle. And I want to just understand, when it was spoken a couple weeks ago about if it gets a favorable vote at the poll, even though it was negative at town meeting, we could have a special town meeting where that could be a companion vote to that. If it's favorable enough, well, what is the favorable amount? Like, is it 500 to 1,500? Is this considered kind of like a wash? It's 50-50 because it was only like 200 votes. Like, I want to understand the process of how you guys decide whether that actually comes back for a special town meeting and then uses the non-binding question from yesterday as a companion vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Campbell?
Good evening, Campbell Sutton here. Are you hearing me all right?
It's not super clear, Campbell,
Well-
but I can hear you.
Okay, great, thank you. Sorry about that. Yesterday, I really appreciate all the efforts everyone went through to run for their seats. Second, I'd like to thank all the challengers for putting in the time and effort and putting themselves forward. It's important to have choices, and hopefully they will stay engaged in the areas of their interest, attend meetings, and continue to give input. Also, I was wondering when there would be an update on, or something like a summary of the findings from the public forums we've had regarding the master plan. We had, and I think it would be, I think a lot of people would like to know, what were some of the findings from that.
Campbell?
Also, just
Campbell?
quickly, at the library, I did pick up 2 handouts.
Campbell?
Yes,
You're breaking up.
Yes.
We're getting
yes.
partial words. I'm sorry.
So are you turning me off?
No, can you just go back to your comment about the library? Did you get the first one
Did you
before?
turn me off?
I'm not turning you off.
No, Campbell, we're trying to get you to repeat what you were saying
Okay, thank you.
after your,
She asked for an update or a summary on the master plan.
yeah,
form.
after the master plan update, you got garbled. So whatever came after that, I'm so sorry. We weren't getting it.
Okay. I just wanted to let people know that I was at the library today and found two handouts there from the International Drilling Organization. Um, and so I picked a couple of them up, but I know there are more there for those that are interested in this offshore hydro drilling event that's going on. And finally, I just want to make a quick comment about the new intersection at the Pulpus and Milestone Road publicly. It's nearly a disaster. I was trying to get out, take a right from Pulpus onto Milestone Road. There was a big utility truck to my left that was trying to that truck, and that truck couldn't take a left because the people turning onto Pulpus Road blocked that truck from turning left. And I just don't, and then we're going to add in bicyclists this summer, and I just don't see where the enhanced safety has come in with this design. And I'm hoping that people are going to be looking very carefully at this and considering some other options. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Campbell. If I may suggest that you send your comments by email so we can include them in the packet. It was very, very hard to hear you. So we'll add them to the packet after the fact. If you send us an email, thank you. I couldn't understand what she was saying.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you get it, Erica?
I think I did. It was, so she thanked all the candidates who ran for election. She would ask an update summary on the master plan forum. At the library today, she found two handouts from an international drilling organization about offshore drilling, but that part got a little off. And then regarding the Pulpus Milestone Road intersection, she's not seeing enhanced safety with the design.
That's helpful. Thank you, Erica. And if there's more detail you want to share, Campbell, please send it by email. That would be great. Brooke.
Yes, hi. Yep, Brooke Gibbs. Two things. I think if you guys posted an officer at that intersection for the summer, as like they do in big cities and stuff like that, to direct traffic, we would alleviate all the bike problems and all the conflicts in traffic and people trying to pull out and turn. Probably be pretty easy and straightforward instead of putting up a light or something like that, or whatever the other solutions might be. Other thing was the monument at the top of Main. I think we could possibly move it to Prospect Hill Cemetery to get it out of the way. I mean, it's 175 years old and it's in the way of everything up there. And it causes a lot of traffic conflict, people trying to get around the corners, going both ways, big trucks trying to get through there, box trucks trying to get through to Liberty. And not to be offensive, but I do think it's acceptable to move it to the cemetery or somewhere else to where it's not in the middle of the road anymore, because it's blocking everything. And we understand that that's an important monument, but I don't know that we're going to be celebrating the Civil War for the next 500 years. You know, traffic's going to evolve. So that's all.
Okay. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you. Okay. Any others who wish to speak in public comment? Okay, seeing none. We don't have any new business. We do not have minutes, as I indicated. Do we have a motion on the approval of treasury warrants for May 21st? So moved, Madam Chair. Okay, that's a motion from Malcolm, second from Matt. All those in favor? Aye. And by the way, I didn't announce at the beginning, Select Board Member Holgate is not present today, so we have a 4-member board. Okay. And next up is a request from the town clerk for the appointment of a constable and reappointment of a registrar of voters.
I'm not seeing Nancy.
Yeah, I don't see.
If you want me to review this real quick, I can.
Yeah, that would be great. Thanks, Erica.
So the town clerk is asking for the reappointment of Michael Day as one of our constables, and then the reappointment of Carolyn Gold as a registrar of voters. These are pretty standard. You do these all the time. The constable appointments are pursuant to MGL Chapter 41, Section 91A and B. And I would just ask that you approve these two appointments.
So moved.
Okay. I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. And that is unanimous 4-0. Okay, next up is traffic safety recommendations, and I do have to recuse on one of these, so why don't we go through them? And Drew, you're going to do these?
Yes, I am. I'm standing in for Mike Burns tonight.
Okay, so Drew, if you could present the not 62 Center Street, and then I will recuse for 62 Center Street.
Great. Do you want me to just do both of those and then open it up to discussion and vote, and then we'll do the third one?
That sounds great. Thanks.
We'll wait for Erica to get there. Perfect. So this location map gives you the location of the request from the resident at 6 Gay Street. So this is just up the hill from the Jared Coffin House. You can see there's a couple spaces in blue. The area outlined in red is the request to remove one on-street parking space. Erica, if you go to the next slide or the next page, you can see the existing conditions photo, which is pretty regular for the resident coming out. It's a pretty narrow sidewalk that vehicles park on, and it's difficult for them to exit their residence. Erica, if you want to go to the next one. So this location map shows a staff request and recommendation for the removal of 2 on-street parking spaces on Liberty Street. In reviewing the existing conditions and final surface restoration work as part of the sewer project, traffic safety work group identified that there's 2 spaces here that I think causes a couple issues. One is obviously a little further south on Liberty Street between Gardner and India is kind of that what we call the dilemma zone, where it's two-way traffic, not quite wide enough for 2 cars. When there's cars parked between the stoop and the corner, it creates a challenge for vehicles coming out of Hussey Street heading south with vehicles heading at them. And then the fire chief also expressed a concern about turning radius for fire apparatus when vehicles are parked there, because they're traditionally parked very close to the corner. So taking the right-hand turn onto India from Liberty is incredibly difficult because of the narrowness of India Street. So those are the 2 requests for now. And I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Thanks, Drew. Any questions from the board or a motion?
I have a comment on the Gay Street. Part of what's happening is the vehicles that are driving on the streets have gotten wider, and the vehicles parking are wider, so they're pulling up on sidewalks. The last policy that I can remember us voting, I've got a copy in my office, and this is going back 15 or so years. There were 3 roads that allowed parking. This was traffic safety did this analysis. There were 3 roads that allowed parking with 1 tire up on the sidewalk, but a baby carriage still had to pass the sidewalk. Somehow between when we crafted that policy and now, it has turned into parking on every sidewalk is okay. And so, after we had voted it and enforced it for a year or so, and it seemed like we had gotten somewhere, it has slowly turned back into even places that don't need, like Gay Street right there, it isn't necessarily a place that needs to park on a sidewalk like that car was doing. And so I think that we've got to, I would like at some point, I hope that traffic safety takes a good look at it again, because I think our sidewalks, we could get, at some point, we could have sort of the handicap accessible people come, and the town could have a lot of problems, and so I think at some point we need to start thinking about, putting lines and delineating widths that people can be to park, and if they're too wide, they shouldn't be parking there. And so we have to do something. I'm in favor of, of both of these, it's fine, but I think, are we gonna give our sidewalks away to cars, or, we can't rebuild our roads. So are we gonna allow the sidewalks to take the roads and the cars to take the roads and the sidewalks? Or are we going to ask that they fit within our built environment? So I think it's a pretty important question going forward. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Anything else?
I would make a motion to approve based on the recommendations from traffic safety for improved emergency vehicle access.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Matt, you want to take over for 60?
Yes. Okay, Drew, on Center Street?
Sure. Just let Erica get there.
Oh,
So
it's
this
Church
is
Street,
this is the location map for Church Court, which was a request from the church. You can see the two red boxes. The red box on the right is where they've requested that we designate two on-street accessible parking spaces. And then on the left at the end of the dead end is the current location of the accessible parking space. Erica, if you go down to the photo where the orange Jeep is the current accessible space, which A, is not a great place for an accessible parking space. And B, if Erica was actually on Street View and not looking at a photo, when you go to the end, you can see it's very tight for any regular vehicle to turn right into the parking lot at the end. And again, the fire department expressed a desire to remove that space or supported the request to remove the space because when that Jeep is there, getting a fire apparatus around the back of the church is impossible. So we, as a group, unanimously supported this request from the church.
All right, do we have any comments on this? From anyone? No?
I move approval, Mr. Chair.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I have one comment. When you go back to the picture, I grew up at 45 Center and walked to the Academy Hill School from there almost, every day that school was in. I would walk and we'd go through these yards and, climb over the roofs and do all the things that we did as kids back in the day. So I've been around a lot there. Thank you.
Thanks, Drew.
Thank you.
Okay, we are at committee reports. Anyone?
Madam Chair, I have one.
Yep.
Just to update on the African American House Investigative Committee. The committee has finished an RFP with significant help from Cindy and Brian in the Finance Department. We could not have done it without them, and that was officially posted today.
So it was an actual RFP?
Yes.
Okay, great.
It's
Because
a-
I made that mistake last time.
It's
so I'll make sure.
it took longer than I expected, but I think it's correct.
Okay, terrific. Glad to hear there's progress. Awesome. Anybody else?
Move to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your long evening.